This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
This is Stephanie Diaz de Leon.
This is Omar Waheed.
And this is Rob Chappell.
And it's 365 Amplified. We're a smaller group today.
Yeah.
Less voices. That's how you know summer's over.
Right.
The youth are gone.
The youth, some of the youth will be back once the semester gets underway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
will they?
Yeah.
A couple of them will.
Mhm.
But that's a take a week.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're about to start classes
Yep.
next week and maybe a week and a half if
Yep.
they need it.
You can do this at the same time as you do classes.
You can do everything. You can multitask.
Right.
Burn yourself out already before the semester starts.
Right.
No.
I did my whole master's.
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah.
So did Rob. Yeah, but you all are old. Like, when you're that young, you're still trying to figure it all out.
hmm
Yeah.
We have a mayoral race
We have already.
all of a sudden.
And I know there's more coming out. Like, these aren't the only
Probably,
folks that
yeah.
you're sharing, but I know, like, there are whispers.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many now?
There's three challengers
Yeah.
to the incumbent.
I only saw two. Who's the third?
Kaleem.
Oh,
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
just saw him this morning. I was driving down Fisher Street. And he was walking across the
Oh,
road.
yeah.
I was like, Khalid.
Kaleem!
So the
He is somebody you could roll down your window and say, hey, Kaleem! And he'll say hi.
yeah.
He really will.
Um,
He might not know who the heck is saying it, but he's just like, hi. He's
That's
like,
me. I'm
yeah.
very recognizable.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying. Like,
former alder and common council president Syed Abbas
yeah.
announced Thursday afternoon at an event on the east side where he represented District 12 for 2 or 3 terms. So I got to talk to him ahead of that, and
Mhm.
and then that morning, Brian Benford, also a former alder from the east side, announced his candidacy in a press release. So we haven't had a chance to talk to him yet, but we will.
Yeah.
And then Kaleem Caire has not formally announced yet, but has basically told
Other people.
the media that
yeah.
he intends to, like mid-September, he's going
Uh-huh.
to announce officially. And of course, Satya Rhodes-Conway, the incumbent, said earlier this summer that she's seeking a third term.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, knows?
And
I know.
I think that a lot of it is going to hinge on the fallout from the shooting of Corey Ruiz and the response to protests and stuff around that.
Well, and the continuing response
Mhm.
still, right?
Mhm.
They did have that common council meeting
Mm-hmm.
earlier this week where alders got to ask questions on behalf of their constituency.
Yep.
Right. And even that, I don't know what I expected from it. I didn't expect much.
No.
But I know lots of folks were disappointed in
And the answers. Yeah.
in the answers and even sometimes the questions, but like, I don't know. I guess it just didn't feel as, they just didn't do as good as they could have in that.
Yeah, some people were disappointed that nobody asked about the cost of breaking
Yeah.
of monitoring and breaking down the encampment.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people were disappointed in Satya Rhodes-Conway's response to the question of why you never went down there.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She said, there wasn't a place for politicians. That would make it about me. It's not about me. And also, I was really busy.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't hear the really busy part. I guess I missed that part.
She said it more constructively than that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was going to say, I think she said it better than that. But I did hear I didn't think it would, she said something, she would deflect
and distract.
from the
And
intention.
she actually was critical of a few politicians that did go down there. But I think that A lot of people didn't like that response.
Yeah.
Just kind of reject that premise that going down there would, even if it does put the attention on you a little bit, at least you're showing some empathy and you're able to more credibly talk about what's happening there if you've witnessed it yourself and you've been there and talked to people.
I mean, Everett Mitchell did go down there and he did try to take control of chanting and all that, and the people told him no.
I mean,
and Francesca Hong went down there.
Yeah, lots of people went through there. I don't think that deflects from, because folks want to be heard, and anybody who has a position, has positionality and or power, because positionality and power can be different things. Being there provided a sense for some folks, not everyone, but for some folks, legitimacy of what they were doing, like, hey, and that folks cared, right? Yeah. Absolutely. Some folks might have thought it was performative. Some folks might have thought, like, they're trying to just get pictures in the press or, get some street cred. But some people actually maybe felt and wanted to be heard, right? And seen and valued and cared for. Because that's what community is. So, like, I think there is something to be said that, like, sure, some of that may have been true of that negative part, but some of it was about, not getting folks to hear them and see them and value them, not from afar. Because it's not the same experience from afar either. Like, I understand Satya maybe saying, the mayor saying that she didn't feel like she should be there a lot, but go once.
Yeah.
Go to just hear and understand what people are saying and just say that I'm just here to listen. That's it. That's all you had to say. Not to pass judgment, not to can't answer questions because you don't know how to answer yet. That's valid things to say. Like, I'm just here to listen. I'm not here to be a center or anything. I'm just here to listen. That's it. And if she's asked to leave and leaves right away, okay, like, you're still listening even if you're being asked to leave, right? You're making an attempt here.
Yeah, but I think that and the very decision to clear the encampment and the sort of the relationship between the police department and the independent monitor's office, which we're going to talk a little bit more about, and there are people on the other side who think the mayor should abolish the independent monitor and fire her and all that stuff. So she's kind of getting it from both sides.
Sure, yeah.
So which I think makes her seat particularly vulnerable, and that's what people are feeling and are jumping in to try to unseat her.
Yeah.
So there will be a primary in February in the top, and it's a nonpartisan office, technically speaking. So it's the top two candidates coming out of the February primary. We'll go on to the general election in April. And we will we'll have all the candidates on the show here at some point, and we'll cover that race and any like debates and that kind of stuff. But it's just now getting underway. But speaking of the obviously independent monitor, just a brief update that Emmerich Glass did file. Her attorney, William Sultan, filed basically a court order petitioning a judge to compel the police department to turn over all the evidence in the shooting of Cortez Ruiz, which they still haven't done. As we talked about last week, City Attorney Michael Haas put out an 11-page memo, just basically repeating in greater detail the argument that state law prohibits the police department from turning over any evidence while the State Division of Criminal Investigations is investigating. I don't buy that, as we talked about last week, so go back and listen to that. But I don't see any like court date or anything, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. So we will keep an eye on that. And also related to that, they actually the folks behind the encampment, which has now been dismantled, actually showed up at the city county building earlier this week, right? And Omar, yes, you were there.
Did. Sunday afternoon. Great weather that day, by the way.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Honestly, if you're going to protest, I ask, Do it on the nicer days. You wouldn't believe how many times I've come to protest. I was like, did you have to do this on the hottest day of the week? And they laugh, but I'm so serious. But Freedom Inc. decided that, going back to what we were talking about, the mayor never came down to the encampment. So
we'll go to you.
We'll bring it to you, and hopefully you have to see it. She probably didn't. That's the honest truth. But they placed down photos of everyone in Madison who was killed by police violence for umpteen amount of years. Many of them that I don't know because predates my time.
Yep.
The ones from across the country also killed by police violence. They had tombstones that they put all over the grass in front of the city county building. So it was a very clear and present in your face type of thing. It was everywhere.
Is it still there?
Probably not. It was probably dismantled 6 a.m. the next day.
Yeah. But it wasn't like people staying there, was it?
No.
It's a display.
It's a display.
An unmissable display.
Basically. Yeah. So I don't know why you wouldn't stay around there.
Yeah.
Because they're just gonna throw everything away.
Well, but also you made it kept it visible. Even if the stuff is gone, the photos you took of it are not.
Yeah.
I know. We're now using one as a stock photo. I think we've used it like 3 times already.
Yeah. This is good. I mean,
good photo. It's a great photo.
Yeah. So I would assume there'll be more of that coming.
Freedom Inc. is not letting up at all.
Yeah.
I think the canceled vote on the independent monitor, the Police Civilian Oversight Board, definitely added
sort of
fuel to their anger. So,
we'll continue to follow that. I have one other update on another police behaving badly story that we've been following, and this is the Dane County Sheriff's deputy that followed the young woman, Brianna Montgomery, for 6.5 miles, and then pulled her over in front of her own house, and then threw her to the ground and put her in handcuffs and then got 8 Sun Prairie officers there, and it was a whole situation until a Dane County Sheriff's Office sergeant came and was like, "What are you doing? Stop it! Let them go." The Montgomery family, Javon Montgomery, who was Brianna's father, who also ended up in handcuffs, filed a complaint with the sheriff's office, and I'm going to read you the response from the sheriff's office. Dear Mr. Montgomery, your complaint received on Friday, August 7th, prompted a thorough investigation of the incident you described. Careful examination and evaluation of the evidence established that the actions of the concerned employee, Tory Boyce is the deputy's name, were legal and lawful. I don't know why I have to say legal and lawful.
I mean, one, that's redundant language.
Yeah, it's like 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, going on. Please be assured that we desire to provide the best possible law enforcement services to the citizens of Dane County and are appreciative when given the opportunity to clarify such matters. It is indeed unfortunate that you had a negative experience with the sheriff's office. However, I'm hopeful that you and our agency will learn from this experience and that future contacts will be positive. Thank you for taking the time to bring this important matter to our attention. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. A record of your complaint will be retained. Now, is there, first of all, that please do not hesitate to contact me is a little disingenuous because they don't answer the phone and don't return messages, as I have found. And I actually asked this morning, is there a policy regarding the professional standards department answering their desk phones? Because they just never do. So is there anything in that letter that would indicate that this investigation is ongoing?
Yeah. No, there's nothing in there.
No, but it also sounds like a customer feedback letter
response. Yeah. After we saw your Yelp response,
right?
We investigated it.
So the thing is that this complaint wasn't asking whether Tory Boyce acted lawfully, but
no, they were pretty sure that was like. But do you all have professional standards for which you require your own officers to meet?
Right. This wasn't a criminal investigation. This was a complaint about professional standards and Dane County Sheriff's Office policies
and process. Right. Like that's what it's about. Like, is this how you all train your officers to act.
Right.
I didn't care if it was lawful or not. We knew. Here's the other thing too. We knew you were all going to say this was lawful and legal. We already knew that
because it was. I mean, frankly, it was lawful.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. It doesn't mean it was good.
It doesn't mean it was right.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that's really important here. I wish people would understand this. What legal and what's right are two very different things. Legality has nothing to do necessarily with your own sense of right and being right, doing right, being the best person you can. That's not what it's about. It's the same thing with regards to our sense of what actual justice is in a court system, in a court place. Justice is not for those who were offended or harmed or hurt. Justice is for the system, right, that is put into place.
Mm-hmm.
That justice that people are saying they're seeking, or what we use and how we use it, and how systems use it is justice for that system, not to do with actual people.
And if a sheriff's office deputy actually broke the law, then the DA would be involved.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be just a civilian complaint. Okay, so I reached out to Elise Schaefer, who's the spokesperson for the sheriff's department, and I asked, "Is this normal? When somebody makes a complaint, do you only look at legality, or does the professional standards department actually look at professional standards?" I got an auto response that she's out this week, so click here to email Heidi Gardner, who's Captain Heidi Gardner, who oversees the whole administrative division of the sheriff's office. So I emailed her and just asked that broad question. Now, I haven't talked with her before, so she didn't know what case I was talking about. So she just said, no, it's broader than legality. We always do a thorough investigation of training, professional standards, Dane County Sheriff's Office policies. And I said, oh, that's interesting, because here's the letter that this family got. Does this make sense to you? Shouldn't that letter say, but the investigation is ongoing? Or should it say anything about professional standards at all? And that's when she stopped responding to me. And then, so I emailed again the next day, and I said, just checking in on this. And then Elise Schaefer, who's still on vacation apparently, emailed me and said, oh, no, it's our internal investigation with regard to training and stuff is still ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
That we just wanted to communicate to them that we found everything legal, but we're still continuing to review the incident as regards to our
the letter makes
standards.
It sound things are resolved.
Yeah.
And therefore, no follow-up is needed from you all. That's literally what it is. It's don't worry about the rest.
Right. I have to say, and I've emailed again twice after that saying, but so could they expect more communication?
Yeah. What is the follow-up?
Is that normal for there to be 2 steps in this process?
And how did you share that expectation though? How did you say, thank you so much for sharing your experience, like a customer service prompt, like it should be, follow all the way through. Please note there are 2 processes that we have to go through. One is about the legal side of things. Mm-hmm. The second is about professional standards.
Right.
One you will get an update on, but the second one may be due to employee union contract. We are unable to give you that information, whatever it is. Or maybe you are. I'm just saying, explain the process.
Well, or
explain the process.
Or that's just not true. That email I got back about that the investigation is actually ongoing. We just haven't finished it yet. It just strains credulity.
Why did you send that letter then?
Right. If it's not, why would you do any communication before it's complete? So it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm still trying to get more information from the sheriff's office about this process. I've also put in a records request for all documentation of all complaints so far this year, just to see, is that normal?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they all just end with, oh, it was legal?
Yeah.
Which
probably.
Yeah.
That's kind of,
what it's feeling like.
That's kind of what it feels like, that they just kind of rubber stamp that it's legal. And
the police investigated themselves and they found that the police did nothing wrong.
Right. And why is it called professional standards? If they're not looking at professional standards, they're saying they do look at professional standards, but as a secondary thing. And then it just doesn't make sense how this happened. So I'm going to look into it a little bit more. So this has gone from this one case to now the question about the bigger sort of complaint process. And we will continue to follow that and keep you up to date on what we find. Finally, a name that might be familiar to some folks, Luis Macias, who was the He used to be the DEI person at the UW Police Department, and then he was working in
Cals
at UW as a dean or assistant dean in administration. And now has a new gig as the assistant principal at Vel Phillips Memorial High School. Back in education, which is where it all started. So, Omar, you got to talk to him.
I did. Very excited that he's back into education. It's something that he's kind of wanted to get back into, but he's been away from it for
a while,
over a decade.
Yeah.
So he said it's always been in the back of my mind that I should go back to K through 12 education. That's where the magic is, in my opinion. But it's been so long, and I don't know if I would be welcomed back in that space. But he went to Middleton first. He was the interim dean of students, and they welcomed him right away. And he was like, "Oh, this was right to go back into K through 12. Maybe I should have done it sooner." But so he's going to be the assistant principal at Vel Phillips. He's very excited to be back in K through 12 education. Notably, he was a social studies teacher in Florida before, so he's never taught in Wisconsin. I was asking him, what's different that you're seeing now back in education? He was like, equity. Equity is so much different. Students stand up for themselves in ways that I couldn't have dreamt of myself. And
that's really encouraging to hear.
I know. So I was like, that's...
I'm curious, as somebody who left education before COVID and comes back to it after, I wonder if that changed anything. You know what I mean? Like those 2 years where everything was kind of up in the air, and whether the sort of day-to-day education would be noticeably different now.
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yes, students are standing up for themselves in ways they never have before. He himself, when he was 10 years old, he was placed on track saying that he would never graduate high school. Just from very early age, being discouraged in the education system. So, and then he jumps into DEI, where it's about equity and empowering people. And now the students are just already empowered themselves.
That's great.
Yeah.
So he's really excited to be back, and this will be his first coming academic year back in K through 12.
Fantastic. And that profile will be up at Madison365.org. Take a short pause, and we'll be right back. If you've listened to this show before, you know how passionate I am about Forward Madison, our local professional soccer team. I want you to join in my passion by doing two things. First, listen to the 608 Soccer Show, my Forward Madison podcast, on any podcast app. And second, join me and the whole 365 crew at the Forward Madison match on September 12th. We have a special ticket deal just for our listeners, and a portion of your ticket will benefit Madison 365, your favorite local nonprofit news outlet. Tickets are limited, so get them now at bit.ly/forwardmadison365. Again, that's bit.ly/forwardmadison365.
Now get more greens, where the good fiber, the flow on cyber. Vamos los flamingos flock tighter. All we do is give that good try. Close a hidden playlist on Spotify. Do da do just like Shy.
Before we jump into the interview here, the interview we had lined up sort of ghosted me today. So I reached out to Common Council Vice President Carmella Glenn, and she very graciously agreed to hop on kind of last minute and give us an update on a few things. We kind of just jumped right in on some things. So I just want to catch you up so you know what we're talking about. On August 4th, city staff and police officers cleared the encampment at Baldwin and Williamson Streets, as you may remember. About 5 a.m, they did that. That night, the council had a meeting that went on quite long. And at that meeting, apparently some alders wanted some answers as to how that intersection was cleared and how certain decisions were made. So the city hosted a Q&A this past Monday where alders were asking questions of the mayor and police chief and city staff, department heads, that kind of thing. I didn't watch the whole thing because I had a pretty good idea of what they were going to say. But Carmella was there, obviously, so I wanted to just check in with her. So here's that interview. And joining us again for the second time in a month. I think this is an unprecedented guest frequency on 365 Amplified. City Council Vice President Carmella Glenn, how are you feeling today?
I am well. How are you?
Doing all right. Moderately frustrated on a number of levels, which aren't your fault. But there are multiple law enforcement agencies in this county that have transparency problems. And
I would agree.
That. I want to ask you about the Q&A that happened Monday. That you have been outspoken on social media that you didn't think it was useful or didn't go well. Can you let's kind of set the table. What was it supposed to be? What was it sort of presented as that it was supposed to be?
Well, it was presented with this discussion in the follow-up. Actually, Alder McKinney had sent an email like the day after the really long council meeting we had, and it kind of came out where like they were like, who knew about it? And all the alders were shaking their head like this. Alder Barbara McKinney sent one with some direct questions, and then President Madison responded that she was going to work on something, and so that's how it came to be. And when I got the emails in the direction, which was gather, on the site it said gather input and questions from community, I must admit I had high hopes. I had high hopes up until about an hour before the meeting started, and I saw the questions, and I sent in like 2 or 3 pages of questions that were divided by agency. So CDD, public health, police, mayor, and then Office of Independent Monitor based on social media posts I had put, and then emails I had gotten. And when I saw the questions that came back, I was like, whoa, I guess we're softballing it to everyone except for the Office of Independent Monitor tonight. And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, there's no other office even lined up. It just says encampment. I'd have to look through it, but there were other sections, and then it was Office of Independent Monitor. And so I knew it was going to be bullshit.
And was there anything, it was like 4 hours or something, 4 or 5 hours, and did anything
like
come out of it? Did you learn anything?
That our leadership doesn't want to take accountability for what they did. That the mayor has the right to have things like that happen and then come to us who hold the purse strings to ask us to pay for it.
Why didn't anybody ask about the costs?
Because we've gotten so many reports on it, and all of us, it's, I think, the internal workings that we get all the time, and people not then asking the question so that the community can see it, which is keen on being transparent on social media, because just because we know it from the outside doesn't mean the community knows it. So, and the reason, I'll just be transparent. When I seen what it was, I really just wanted to let it be what they wanted it to be, because the community, to me, needed to really see that. They needed to see that this is how leadership is going to move in hard times for us, no matter what.
So to you, this is valuable to for people to see the mayor and the police chief and the department heads sort of dissemble, which seemed I'll be honest. Some of what I saw, I watched the first probably not quite hour of it. And some of what I saw made a little bit of sense. I didn't seem to be complete. But it was also a lot of talking in circles, and
It was a lot of we have the right to and we can.
I'm thinking specifically of the mayor's response to why didn't you go down there?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think her response, I think that is what she said is that I didn't want to make it about me. I didn't want to be a distraction, whatever. I can see where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I think it still is probably the wrong call, but I can see how she would think that, and nobody in her orbit would say, "Well, maybe
they're asking.
Maybe still go down there."
Yes, it doesn't matter, and that is the disconnect that where I'm in struggle, where they're in struggle with me, and where I'm in struggle with them is this disconnect between. And especially with when you come to alders, maybe the mayor is seen as the CEO, right? And is maybe twice removed. But if your community wants you to come in, you go. I just don't. That's a really big disconnect for me. And if you say I would have had more respect. I would have had less judgment, I should say, if I would have heard, I was also getting death threats, or I was also afraid, or I would have had much more respect for that kind of an answer, because you are the mayor. It is to them about you.
Yeah. Right. You're not going to make it about you. It is about you. So go listen. Yeah. At least just say, like, I showed up one day, and if people don't want you there, that's fine.
Yes.
But make the effort. But again, that seemed reasonable a little bit. And I think there are a couple of things that the police chief said that were kind of like, okay, I'm trying to be as neutral and give everybody the benefit of the doubt as much as I can, because that's what I got to do. But like
the benefit of the doubt, I give them benefit of the doubt too, but it's the different kind of benefit of the doubt. My benefit of the doubt is that you're right. Everything you said is absolutely right. It doesn't make it right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can do that, but that doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
Right. Was there anything at all that any of the city leadership said that gave you any new insight? Anything seemed at least a little bit satisfactory, or that at least a little bit conciliatory?
If you'd have talked to me that night, I'd have probably said, yes, around like the buckets, or yes, around like that, they were really trying and that they had put stuff together. But then I go back and look at old footage and I'm like, you didn't touch their stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, that they tried. There wasn't anything I didn't know. I thought there were more overnight hotel stays. I didn't know it was only like 12 that took it. I had heard touted numbers of 40 to 50, and I think
what
Jim said only 12 families that day took them.
Because what? They said 70 initially.
He said in that meeting. Go back and look. I think he said 12.
I will. I'll check that, because they definitely said like 70.
And maybe the 70 is the total over all the days, because they went down there a couple of different times. But that day, I think.
Oh, maybe. I feel like it was more than 12 that day, though. That's what they said initially. But also, when you have two different numbers, one of them, either one of them might be wrong. So, like, he might be wrong now, and it was actually bigger. There's actually more. So, for folks, I feel like we're skipping over stuff because you and I know what we're talking about. So, I want to be cognizant of our listeners. When the protest site at corner of Baldwin and Williamson Street became this sort of encampment, which ended up being like a service center for unhoused people. And as part of clearing it, the city has said that they gave hotel stays, basically 1 week hotel stays for like 70 people is what they said. It was like it was like 50 that day and like 70 over the course of a few days or something like that. And I'll have to go back and look. But now what you're telling me is that at the Q&A this past Monday.
Yeah. Jim said 12 that day.
Jim said it was like only like 12. I will look into that.
So yeah, go back and look at it. I could be wrong too, and maybe I heard the wrong number. So that was surprise. That was a little bit for me. And then I think there's some things that just stood out so much were the definition of riot gear was like, and then about the drones and that how they're used and what they're used. When I've received numerous emails from residents over there asking when they're going to finally stop flying them over their neighborhood. So, but other than that, no, it was fluff. The questions had been so softball. They weren't even asked the way we asked them, except for Armix. And I think everyone thought that she was going to dodge them, but I think they might have been the best answers of the night.
Yeah, I did. Again, I'll have to also go back and see what she had to say, because I've been talking with her a bit as well about a different case that we'll get to. I don't know if I want to bring it up right now or not, but I'm still looking into the death of Richard Lee Johnson.
Yeah,
and that's the other transparency issue that I'm really not happy with right now. I want to ask you too about the recommendations, right? The ad hoc committee recommendations, which this goes back a long way.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to
2020, I think.
2020.
Mm-hmm.
This is like post Tony Robinson, post George Floyd. The ad hoc, the city put together this committee. They put together 177 recommendations. As far as I know, only one of them has really been implemented, and that is the implementation of the PCOB and the obviously independent monitor.
And right? I would say that's loose.
Yeah, it has been maybe not fully implemented, maybe not reaching its full potential yet. But there's 176 other things that were supposed to be happening and aren't. And you have been spending the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm on day 12.
Day 12, so almost 2 weeks now. Basically, like posting these on your Facebook. Like, these are recommendations that haven't happened. My question to you is, who is supposed to be doing those things?
There are a multitude. But mostly MPD. They're all recommendations for them, but there was a couple, like today was around like language line through MPD, and so them using the city's language line and trying not to have social workers that would be them or other community workers ever translate and have internal translation or use language line. So there's some crossover in some of them. There's yeah.
Is there any role for PCOB in moving those along?
I don't want to dig into too much about what I'm working on, but I think there's some resolution or the ordinance that could be written up around them, asking for some follow-up, having some regular reports on the implementation, and then, involving PCOB with some oversight on seeing that through.
Just looking back at when PCOB like first started,
mm-hmm.
Like December 2020, like the mayor was there at one of the very, if not the first meeting, one of the very early ones, basically saying like, go get them, guys. You got these recommendations that you have to implement now. And like PCB has kind of not been empowered or not focused on, or I don't know, most of those recommendations other than their own existence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, we know, we've watched, it was brought up this week with, I think it was a Cap Times article around like the Public Safety Review Committee. which is another struggling one that is supposed to be doing some really good work. It seems like most of the boards and committees that are going to be challenging systems struggle to get up and going. And so do I think that that the PCOB struggled? Yes. But you're also talking to someone who works in peer support, which is all people with lived experience. And so even the most well-trained, well-ready, when you, like, Rob, I don't like, not to sound like a wuss, I did this on purpose. I knocked down the doors and all that, but this might be, I've worked in corrections. And this might be the most traumatizing, hard work I have ever done over the last few months. And really, it's because it's just you don't see it coming because you got so many people asking you to come join and tell you they want you, and then at every way make you feel crazy by questioning why they're not letting you do what you're supposed to do.
So what has to happen for PCOB or whoever to kind of...
They have a very strong board right now. They've got the correct agencies putting the people in there. I think the Office of Independent Monitor has to be a strong ally, though, to that board because they also needed education in their rights. When that's it, for 5 years, they've been told you're not allowed to. But go ahead and do this, and then you're not allowed to. And I think having our Meek there ask them to put it in writing why you're not allowed to, and then a lot of the opinion of our city attorney and ordinances are a lot of opinion and haven't been legislated or brought to court. So, but when you have someone sitting on your board, Haas has sat on that board and other attorneys since day one telling you really can't do this, you can't do this. It is in the opinion of it. I've seen it happen to other alders. Most alders believe when he says it's the opinion of, it's the opinion. Listen, it's an opinion. We don't have to.
Well, I feel like I feel like through this and through like a couple other things that we could talk about off mic, how when your kids are little and they ask you a question and you answer it and they say why, and then you answer it and they say why, and you answer it and they say why, and eventually you got to stop and just say I don't know, that's just how we do it.
I don't know.
I feel like I want to be that kid, and I want to get the police departments and the sheriff's office to the point of just admitting I don't know, that's just how we do it.
Yep. That's exactly what's happening in this city. That is exactly why they're having a hard time with me. They're having a hard time with our Meek. They're having a hard time with people that are like, no, show me why we can't. You don't get to just tell me it's because you said so.
Right. So if they have enough people asking them why, both from inside where you are and from outside where I am, the answers just have to get better.
The answers have to get better.
And we're not going to take we said so anymore. I think that's for me, that's one of the biggest things that's come out of this whole situation.
Yeah.
Is that the people, there's a lot of people who just are going to be back to blue no matter what. Anyway.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a threshold, a critical mass of people who are just aren't going to take the answers anymore and are going to need some better explanations. And if your answers are right, fine, we will accept it if you can show us something.
Yes.
If you can tell us why, if you can answer that third and fourth why question, which we are 100% entitled to ask because you work for us and you have guns and we don't. So we're going to ask you lots of questions. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to answer them in a way that makes sense to us out here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. As I feel like some of these folks, and I genuinely feel this about Chief Patterson, that I think he's genuine when he says he wants transparency. But his definition of transparency is very different than ours because he's inside the system. Transparency inside the police department looks different than transparency looks out here. And I need him to talk about transparency the way it looks from out here.
Agree. I need Chief Patterson to take off the blue suit and be the man that I talk to when I'm in one-on-one conversations.
I would like him to show up at a press conference without a gun.
It'd be nice.
I'm curious why he needs to be armed all the time. Yeah. That's one of my questions that I have written down that next time I see him, I'm going to ask him, why does he need to be armed? When he's talking to reporters, is he afraid of us?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a mindset question to me. Like, why are you armed all the time?
Yeah, agree. It's a really good question.
The sheriff's not. The sheriff walks around. The sheriff's not always armed.
No.
Why does police chief have to be?
I know.
Just curious.
Yeah, I think when you one of the answers that our meet gave that out of her questions was very telling. And I know everyone thinks that I talk to her all the time, but we don't. That's what they think. Like, now all of a sudden I talk to all these people all the time, and I'm like, actually, maybe
don't you have the all black women group chat?
Right. One of the answers that she gave was around not having trust in the community. And she said, I think the police officers who stop by my office to report and feel afraid, and the amount of complaints I have gotten since that incident tell a different story. And that is the piece that I think we get to when people stop saying just because that's how we do it. We get to the place where people stop asking the silly questions around people trusting you and start saying, why are there these 100 people, these officers that feel unsafe, these people that feel unsafe? We got the questions. I want to be asking different questions. I want them to start answering different questions, not what I'm doing or who I'm talking to. Why do your constituents feel unsafe in their city?
Right. Yeah, those are even the bigger questions. They can't answer the sort of the technical questions. You're gonna have a hard time answering the bigger questions. And you talk about community trust, and I asked Chief Patterson about this at the last press conference they had. Was you talk a lot about community trust, and he said, "Oh, it's fragile." That's partly because you don't tell us anything.
It's
if we don't feel like you're telling us the full truth, why would we trust you?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not in a position to necessarily opine on police procedures or whatever, or who was right or wrong in any given interaction. I am, however, as a journalist, I am an advocate for transparency and truth, and I don't think we're getting those things from the police department right now.
No, we're not getting those things from the police department.
Yeah. All right. Hang on when I stop the recording. Hang on for a second, okay? All right, Carmella, Glenn, again, thanks for the update. We appreciate it. And just for hopping in last minute here. And,
anytime for you, Rob.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome. Okay. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
We're back. So we're going to move right into the question. You talked about the 4 mayors. So if you were running for mayor, what would be the issue that got you impeached?
Okay, that's we can ask.
I can do that
one. Yeah. Who wants to go? I feel like mine would be bikes.
Pro or con?
All the above. None. Nothing.
No bikes.
No bikes.
The bike people would
bike people would get me off the thing. They'd be like, you can't decide. Are you on the road or are you on the sidewalk? Make a decision. You get one or the other. You don't get both. And I feel like that would get me impeached.
People are coming for you now.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah. Because I don't mind them on the road. I don't mind them on the sidewalk. But you don't get both.
They go in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be about words.
I feel like it's Rob. Rob will be about grammar.
Well, words are important and they mean things.
They do.
Like when I argued with a nurse over COVID because the walk-in clinic required an appointment. So that's just a regular clinic. So
that's not walk-in then.
That's not walk-in. So it's going to be something very I'm actually this is what this means.
Mm-hmm. You're just gonna make people mad.
I'm just gonna. They're just gonna. Please don't wear leave.
Mm-hmm. I was before you even talked about grammar. I was thinking like the punctuation tax would get me impeached. you get a bill every time you use the wrong "your."
Yeah, would probably get you impeached
within the city of Madison.
Or like you don't even get to the ballot. Maybe that's what it. Like I just realized, like if you're running, but you are mayor, what's going to get you impeached, or
it's going to lose you? That was going to sink your campaign.
Lose you.
First person to say anyways gets executed.
That is really that jumped really dramatically. I don't know that but I believe you. I think you would do that. So thanks for this is because now I thought of another one that might get me impeached, but it's fine. I'll say that for another question.
We'll save that for the actual campaign.
Because who knows? Anybody here could run because so many of us are running.
Apparently, that's the thing to do.
It's great. I think it's a good thing. So we will be back next week. Thanks, all.
Have a great weekend.
There's a chance for me to win.
I know.
365 Amplified is produced and edited by me, Rob Chappell, and is a production of 365 Media Foundation, a nonprofit, local, independent media organization in Madison, Wisconsin. Wherever you're listening to this right now, hit the subscribe or follow button to get new episodes every Friday. And between episodes, get your latest news at madison365.org and follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Threads. Wherever you get your news, we'll be there.